Hello and welcome to the DeadAnt chat room. This is your host Anush Kapil, and joining us today is Sumaira Shaikh. Welcome to the show, Sumaira.
Hello, hi.
You are now just about to release your debut special, Dongri Danger, which comes out on February 25. So can you tell us a little bit about the special?
To expect, of course, a lot of jokes because what else from a stand-up special? A lot of jokes, and like I've been saying, like my USP I feel is like jokes and plus like honesty. Like I'm one of those comics, who doesn't like to like hold back in terms of or in real life also. Like I like to be as honest as possible. So this special will do that. Plus, I feel like this special is about my perspective of growing up in Dongri and like my father's perspective of growing up in Dongri and how different it is. So it's a mixture of a lot of jokes, like observational bits, of course, but also like storytelling is something I've tried in this special. So you get to see all of that in Dongri Danger.
And how do your friends from Dongri relate to this sort of stuff? Because I know I did a lot of reporting in Dharavi, and they're very iffy about how they represent it.
So the thing is that my friends, the people I went to college with, people I went to school with, they are very like excited and they're very like they're cheerleaders, yeah. They're very like, please go ahead and do something which is offbeat because stand up in itself is very offbeat, right? It's not traditional. So for people in Dori also, as people react everywhere else, for stand up is समझ नहीं आता हमें क्या है, but जो भी है all the best. So it's that for what people are doing, how they're represented. I feel like they are not that cagey about how they represent. Also, because my stories are very personal and they're very like this is about me and this is my perspective on things. I don't think like my father is the only person whose stories I tell in the special. So his permission I've taken and I don't have to worry about anything else.
And so, in terms of growing up in Dongri, like for people who are not familiar with the locality, like is there like what should people know about Dongri? What was it like growing up there?
My relatives are from here. I'm from here. Mera school is usually your pin code, right? Like you go to that school, and college is where you get the exposure. So till school, and like just interacting with relatives and my friends from here, you realize कि ओ चल यहाँ पे मतलब दुनिया का अलग चल रहा है और यहाँ जहाँ से I'm sure with the town that you belong to also it's the same thing like oh हमारा अलग चल रहा है दुनिया का अलग चल रहा है okay got it also like because we are the minority, right? But in Dongri, we're the majority. So they're like, yes, they don't know they are the minority. They have no clue. They're just living their life, enjoying. Yes.
So when you started on this tour, you mentioned that, and I think you started developing this since 2017.
Yes.
And you mentioned that you had also had a personal loss, you had a difficult year, and you almost quit comedy. So what kept you going?
Well, what kept me going was Pushpavalli. What kept me going was fiction writing. Because stand-up can get very cruel sometimes because you take something which is so personal of yours, go up a stage, and then you're rejected immediately, like immediately by the audience. What happened in 2017 that started that was that my brother passed away. So after that, my comedic style changed also because I had to. It can't just be now observation. It can be, of course, but I also wanted to do more of like my personal stuff and my personal story, so that it's reflected in the special. What kept me going was your question was Pushpavalli, was the fiction writing, was writing Pushpavalli at that time. And I wanted to quit everything, and that's when Sumukhi, who's the creator of Pushpavalli and also the director of Dongri Danger. We'll come to that later, but the creator of Pushpavalli, at that time she said, why don't you just show up to work? Why don't you just show up to writer's room? And whatever it is, even if you're not able to contribute to the story or whatever, just sit there. Like that's what fiction is that you go, you show up, and you sit there. And eventually, slowly, I started coming back, to working and sharing whatever it was, and was able to use my grief and channel it in the writer's room, which was very beautiful. And I think that show literally saved me.
How is that like that's a creative partnership that I think like and personal friendship that's been going on for a while, you and Sumukhi. So can you talk a bit about that and what plans you might have in the future?
Yes, talking about our collaboration, very early on, I seeked her and I found her, and I was just a stand comic, but I was interested in writing, and she was right. And at that time, Hetty Nark came out on YouTube, and I immediately was a fan. That is something I wanted to do. I wanted to learn, and she took me in, and Pushpavalli was the first thing I worked on with her. What is coming up next is that we both are co-creating a show together, and I'm really really excited. So after Dongri Danger, that's going to be like my main focus with her, which is going to be co-creating a show with Sumukhi Suresh. So I'm really looking forward. It's like huge for me right now.
I think there's a lot more exciting stuff also in the works. Uh, but how did the writing work? Like with Pushpavalli, and you've written for some other shows as well. How does that affect your comedy? Like how has that affected this particular special?
Oh, see, the thing is that doing stand-up and writing fiction, how it affects each other is actually fiction requires discipline, a lot of discipline, because you have deadlines, not just deadlines, but it's a lot of work, right? So you can't just show up like 1 week before the deadline and you'll be like you're gone, like you can't do that. So every day you wake up and every day you show up and every day you work is something that in stand up was lacking, I feel, and it lacks for a lot of comics because you're your own boss and nobody is there for putting strict guidelines. So you tend to get sometimes there is certain bitterness or lethargy aa jati hai ki set nahi chal raha, ab kya karna hai. But I think fiction keeps you going, where it's like, no, you have to work hard, you have to come back, you have to take the feedback of the audience, rewrite it. So I think that's how fiction helps my stand-up. And how stand-up helps fiction is that, sometimes fiction ka validation comes much later. Like you work a lot and then it goes up and then the validation comes. Sometimes in that process, it can be that you want to give up and that where to seek validation, right? So stand-up is quick validation. So that it gives you every night. Like every night you go up, every night feedback is immediately given to you. People laugh, you bomb. So that's how I think the two things balance each other out, where stand-up is giving you quick validation and fiction keeps you sort of disciplined.
It's been a rough couple of years for stand-up comedy.
Yes.
Between the pandemic and everything else that's going on. So personally, what are you looking forward to in 2022 in terms of comedy? For your projects, but also generally, like in the scene?
I think, you're right. With the pandemic, live shows were stopped completely 2020. And then 2021 it started also, but it was like wave ke hisab se, as the world was also functioning, everything else also. I feel 2020 for me, Zoom shows were very important. Dongri Danger, everybody who came for my Zoom shows, thank you so much. I would like to use this and really, because it really helped me with Dongri Danger. But in 2022, what I want for the comedy scene is that for it to come back, how it was. I think it's going to take some time, especially the live scene I'm talking about, where a lot of clubs have shut down. They've reopened again. But like it's going to take time for things to stabilize a little bit. And now people are scared, it's a lot to figure out for a lot of people. But I really hope live comedy is fully back and it becomes like an option again for people to go every evening and Saturday go watch it. So I really enjoy it too, just for live comedy to come back.
Okay, that's all. Thank you so much. It's been a great conversation. And before we go, is there any final sort of words to people? Why they should watch the special?
I think people should watch because it's my first stand-up special. And it's every comic's dream, to put out specials and to work towards that hour. And I'm really, really thankful for Amazon Prime Video to pick this up. And like now it's going to be streaming on Amazon. Like it's a major OTT platform. So for me, it's a huge deal. And everybody, come on, like please do this. Please watch my special. It's very important for my career. Okay. That's one. And second, I feel because I'm a very honest comic and I'm a very funny, I think I'm like a very funny comic. So please watch it for jokes and honesty and for very like on the nose comedy. Come on, you can do this, everybody.
I think that's a great note to wrap up on. Thank you so much.
Thank you.